And we are live. It was interesting, Jeff. This weekend, I was actually able to get out golfing, if you can
What?
believe it. Yeah, I
Yeah?
can. Kind of bizarre. I was kind of asked though why. It's like, why did you bring so many socks? Like, why on earth would you bring so many pairs of socks?
Right. Why
Well,
would
it's
you?
in case I get a hole in one.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out
Figuring
their
out dad
gaming
jokes.
lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old.
I'm embarrassed. My name is Jeff, and my name is Jeff. I have a, I can't, thrown off by a hole in the sock. I do have kids. They're 11 and 8. And they both have socks.
So just really like threw us both off. That was fantastic.
Absolutely.
Why bring extra socks golfing in case you get a hole in one? Oh, wonderful.
I hope you got that out of a book or something. Or
Thing is, I'm finding out on Reddit actually. There's a entire Reddit dedicated to dad jokes, and there's ones like that are just perfect as far as clever, not too clever, so you have to think about it too hard. Groaners, like it is
Yep.
a very good sub for
Wow.
gaming dad.
You picked a good one.
Yes, sir, I did. Now the continuing on with our summer, it's a bit of a weird week. I don't think Jeff and I got out too much from our comfort zone for beers
No.
this week with summer, winding down to the busy days of summer. Now, for myself, I've kind of gone against a rule I was trying to set this year around anything I recommend being widely available
Yeah.
for everybody else. So if I say this beer, it's not some super tiny craft that nobody can get. So it's like, oh, thanks for telling me for delicious beer. I'll never have a chance to get.
I'll never get it. Yeah. Okay.
So my beer this week is Super Craft Tiny that you probably don't have a chance to get. This is it comes from if you are in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, you will find it. If you are in Ontario, Canada, you have a chance because I have noticed that this brewery has begun to show up there. Outside
Okay.
of that, sorry if you ever visit, please check it out. It is one of my absolute favorites though. So that's
Oh,
why I was giving myself a little bit of slack. So this is a Nita Beer Company, and this is their Pineapple Sour Radler.
wow.
It is such an amazing summer beer. I can't describe it. I already like sours. I've discovered kind of in a summer context, I adore fruit kind of added into the mix and just adore it. So recently I moved back to Ottawa, and one of the silver linings was absolutely being able to get back to this brewery. It is
Mm.
delicious. It has that great sour taste without being overpowering. It does have the bit of pineapple hint to it, much like a Radler would. So it's kind of fruity and lighter. What I kind of like about it, I noticed with a lot of our beer picks recently, especially when they're smaller breweries, they're kind of creeping up in alcohol content. I don't
They
know if
are.
you
Yeah.
found that. It's like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
5, 6, 7, and like okay, like I'm a dad. I can't be blitzed in the middle of the afternoon. So
Right.
so quite thankfully, this one's down to 4.4, which I do like. So it tends to be you could be a sipper that you maybe have a couple during the day. So
Nice.
that's from Nita Beer Company, Pineapple Sour. If you're ever in the Ottawa region, I really suggest you go check them out. And if you ever visit Ontario, you might be able to find it in the liquor store here. So
Nice.
what? So what are you looking at for our off week this week,
Okay.
Jeff?
Well, again, off week for me, but I'm on the same wavelength as you, which is
Okay.
surprising. Just because myself have never really had Radlers, let alone prefer them, and just on whim, I bought it like a mix pack for me and my wife just to try them out, and
Okay.
Moosehead Peach Mango. Honest to
What?
God,
That is that's like the anti Jeff beer. That's amazing.
it is so anti me, and anybody listening to the show, this is not what I would normally choose. But man, it is refreshing. You could have it like any time of the day. Not that I'm saying get up and snap one, but you could.
It's a
And
gaming dad's mimosa, sure.
yeah, and I don't know, it just brings back memories of tropical swim up bars. Just easy. easy to drink, and again, yeah, just light and airy and summery. You just taste summers. But yeah, I am not for Radlers, and I would totally pick this up again. This is peach mango Moosehead.
That's fantastic. I remember Moosehead being, it's one of those first beers as after I became of age and I started buying beers. I think Moosehead was one of the staples because it's
Yeah.
relatively cheap, but it's not bargain basement like the absolute cheapest beer. So it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting to hear that they have this kind of tasty summer option with a Radler.
Yeah.
And that's certainly up my alley as far as Radler and like weird old fruit shoved in my beer. So
That's right. You can try it out after yours.
good break. Now, so that's an adventure that you took, but as always with your household this summer, it seems there's tons of adventure, and I just have to have you explain a tweet that came out recently about PSA. Don't put voice-activated LED light strips in your kids' room. To which there is a video that Jeff took of a rave of these LED lights just blinking and flashing and flaring up with his kids obviously speaking and giggling in the background.
Yep.
So what on earth was going through your head?
Sometimes you can't, well, you just can't be a perfect dad. You make mistakes. Yeah, you learn from them. This is one of those times where it was just something the kids were getting bored. Again, if you listen to any listeners that are listening to our last episode, we're having a kind of screen reset, going through different kind of ways to get off screen and enjoy the summer outdoors and get social again. And it's a big thing. And the kids were coming bored, and we finally took them out shopping, which has been a while, just with, again, pandemic and stuff. So we're in a store called Winners, which probably many people know, but it's got like a smorgasbord of stuff in it. And my kids just really wanted these LED light strips. They were like $9. And it's just like this 4.5 foot. It's not even like a big LED strip. It's
Yeah, and
just,
at that point, especially I could feel that pain because at some point you're just like, I got to give you something. Like I got to give you an inch because like
Yeah.
there's been so many restrictions lately. I've said no so often. This is seemingly harmless. Just take a W. Fine.
absolutely. Absolutely. So that was purchased, and they really wanted to put it in the room. And our thought behind it was like, oh, my 8-year-old really loves music. He's got a little Google Home in his room. He tells Spotify to play a whole bunch of songs, which is throwing off our Spotify profiles immensely. But that was kind of where we were going with it. Well, little did we know that obviously it's on all the time, and they're talking to it. So instead of dancing to music and the lights going with the music, they're making it kind of like an R2D2. Like it will talk when they talk, and now it looks like the room is talking back to them. So that was a long night when that went in. Like they were up all night doing it, and we gave them a little bit of time with it just to wind down. But oh my God,
Yeah.
don't do it.
I think it's awesome. It really is. Like it's the latest. It's new technology relative to our time. Like it's dumb and silly. Like it lets them be creative in sort of a foolish kind of way. Not like at night while they're trying to go to sleep.
You think like aliens are trying to come through the window and like zap them up or something. Like just all you see is these fluorescent lights from underneath the door.
You're getting calls from your neighbors. Are you guys okay? Like, are you trying to signal us? Like, are you getting robbed? Like, what's up?
It seems to be like, I swear that room is talking to us. Look, it's giving us a sign. But yeah, no, if I was like 8-year-old me back in my day, this would blow my mind. This would be like the ultimate. And my mind was blown with like those clear phones that you could see through. So this thing is like insane. So they're having a blast with it. Again, like you said, we gave them an inch. We gave them something that they could, just have fun with. $10, whatever. Just have fun.
Do you have sort of a secret desire in the back of your head that this will lead to other things? With things like that, I always kind of hope that they really gravitate towards it, but then it becomes, how does it work? What else could I do? And then it leads into, okay, maybe I can get some sort of junior programming set or, electrician set, and I could start to build stuff. I always have these kind of secret ambitions where you're going to like this and that'll be wonderful. some little part of me hopes you just kind of take it to the extreme and, learn engineering like on the
Yeah,
sly,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we have my oldest. He's got like a little circuit board thing that he just plays with, like one of those kid games you connect the circuits. So I'm kind of hoping, like I wouldn't be mad if because you can cut these strips and reformat them. If he took that and built it into one of his toys, that'd be great.
Okay,
But
so
we'll see where it goes.
I'm
Might
gonna
just be
key
a
you
rave for now.
to. If you look into the Raspberry Pi,
Yep.
now the Raspberry Pi, just the Raspberry Pi 4, it's like a $30-$40 computer. It's just, and it's
Right.
just, it is a tiny wallet-sized computer. Has all the power you can need. You just throw in a keyboard, attach it to a monitor, it fully works. It comes with
Right.
some really awesome starter projects, and there's these connectors to it that connect out to what they'd call like a breadboard, that then connect into those type of electrical things. And there's even programs where it's kind of visual, where you kind of snap up pieces. If this happens, then I want you to kind of connect a little bit like the game maker for Mario,
Okay. Right.
right? So if it does take that, I have one. I have a Raspberry 400 just because I was like playing around with it. It's a Raspberry Pi, but it's contained within a key, like a self-enclosed keyboard, which is neat. I
Okay.
have it a lot for myself because I'm trying to learn some things, but also I'm hoping my kid eventually will want to start to play around with it. And the something about the physicality of type something on screen and then have an actual light blink
Right.
off to the direct traffic or something is like kind of
Yeah.
cool.
That
So
sounds really cool. So, but now you're
yeah,
giving me more options on how they can. Our whole house is going to be lit up by all these programmable things that are going to
if
I don't know circulate around the house.
if that's your problem, is that your kid has learned programming so that he can control the light,
True.
housing lights, you're in good
Yeah,
shape. That's fine.
that's
You're in a good
very
spot.
true.
So I'll throw that up for dads. If you ever want to get your kid into some programming, which then results in physical, real world physical objects like sensors and lights and things, Raspberry Pi 4, it's a like $30, $40 computer. And then
Yep.
there's also like the 400, which is a keyboard version for 100. But the Raspberry Pi Foundation, as it is, like it's a really awesome system. So I can throw that out as a consideration for dads who want to light up their kid's room like Jeff did.
That's right.
With voice actor.
Come on over.
Okay, so your kids are lighting up your house. My kids are lighting me up at Mario Kart.
Oh
Because
no.
I legitimately got stomped by my son.
Wow.
I'm talking, there were 4 races, and ethically, I lost all 4 races. Every single one, and I was trying. Jeff. I wasn't like, I didn't pull punches. I didn't
No?
not throw shells. I didn't not boost jump. I just flat lost. Now, I say ethically because technically of 2 of the races I won,
Right.
but I'm talking 3rd lap, blue shell, red shell,
yeah.
nonsense
Can't count
combos. Like
those.
that's
Yeah.
that's how I got my victory, and that's garbage. Like, I did not feel
Even
good
even
about
you
that.
can't accept it. You're like, no, that's a dirty win. That
I
doesn't
should
go
have
in
just
the books.
stopped. I should have still let him get the win. I'm like, I'm not going to take this. I don't need this game's pity. So, but
Wow.
it was a fascinating experience because I'm trying to beat him at Mario Kart, and I couldn't. I could not
Yeah.
beat him. He was ahead of me, and he just never let up. I couldn't get past him. I can't. I don't think I can blame it on settings or anything because the cars don't matter, right?
No,
Like the
no,
carts
not,
and the
not
wheels and
really.
things.
Besides, like,
Like, there's
the
no
weight,
legitimate-
right?
Yeah, but ultimately, like, you could win a race against anybody with any car.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
say, yeah, yeah. So it's just a flat. I lost, man. I lost. I lost
You-
so bad.
You're getting to the point where you know how you used to let your kids win. Now he's gonna feel bad, and he'd be like,
That's so.
"I should really let up off the gas. Let Dad take one."
Dad's crying a lot. I really should just let him take.
I mean, like keep
Then I'm a
doing this to him.
terrible
He
winner.
won't want to
Like,
play.
in your
Yeah.
face. In your face, son. That's what you get. It's my house. It's like, way to go, old man.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
there.
Wow, that's
Just
a,
like-
that's a
I
big thing
don't-
to admit, though.
Because I don't think you know the feeling. Because I'm pretty sure you've never per your previous episode, you still have not lost to your kids.
Not in Mario Kart. Not in Mario Kart.
Not in
but
Mario Kart.
other games, yes. Which I will admit.
Okay.
They
Right,
were taking me for a ride.
Okay, so let me pitch it to you in this angle instead, though. It's what it is. It's a game. Like ultimately, like it. I really honestly didn't get too upset about it. It was like we're still having fun and everything else. And what I found more interesting, and I'm curious if you kind of experienced the same when you did it, is that when I lost or when I was competing with him, like I'm just straight up trying as hard as I can. Couch co-op, somebody in the same house. It's an actual rivalry. It's an actual battle, right?
Yeah.
I haven't had that since I was a kid with my brother, right?
Oh,
like
yeah,
like couch or buddies in college, maybe type of thing. Like competitively playing a video game with somebody right there. I have not got to experience. I can't remember when. It's got to be like something like 20 years, and all of a sudden now, I'm playing with this Mario Kart savant who's like mopping the floor with me, and I get to try as hard as I want to and actually compete. Right? Not okay. So hold on. Let me back that up. He's not a savant. I'm not that great at the game, so it's like let me not soften my own blow.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so I'm losing, but I get to compete with it, so it's actually full on playing a video game, trying to win and beat it. Like when your kid was competing with you in whatever game you mentioned they got the better of you in, was that the same feeling? Was it just rage at being bought? Like what? How do you view this? Having a true competitor in the house.
It's completely different, and I will kind of go back on the things that you were saying, where it's just like you can't remember the last time that you've actually played against somebody in the same room, like that hard and try to actually win. And like, there's been joking times when I've had friends over and we've just played whatever game. But I remember college, like they were tournaments in like the old college dorms and stuff of just Smash Brothers and wrestling and any other games going on. And I haven't had that in a while. And now my kid is I think he like chums the water, and he knows that he's better at me at something, because in one of his games, Terraria, he's dumped a lot of hours into that game. He knows he's really good at it. He's like, "Hey Dad, let's turn on PvP." And that's like that. Like, whoa, what?
The dad slowly raises his eyebrow. Pardon?
I'm like, is this gonna go down? Is this how it's gonna happen? All right, let's turn on PvP and see how you do. What are you trying to do to me? And honest to God, the kid is just a killer. That was it. I had no chance. He knows his stuff, and I couldn't win against him. And it's just this weird feeling like, am I proud? Or do I need to practice more?
It's a mix of like proud, embarrassed,
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah. And now he knows that, hey, Dad's beatable. Do you know what I mean? And what does that do to a kid? My parents never played video games. I don't know how this affects him.
Taking down the king. Man,
Yeah.
geez, I gotta think. It's something I never experienced because my dad never played games, so I didn't have that. Till he retired from it, like he was always better at ice hockey than I was. He was always faster. He was always like a better stick handler. He could always mop the floor with me in hockey. At my peak, he was still better at his age. And then he, knee surgery, retired. Like he stopped playing. So I never got to experience like being better at him at a sport or even kind of like a competition like that. So come to think of it, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of wholly unprepared for how this comes about. I still have the physical edge on my kids, but like at this rate, I'll probably take over that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, you could always blame it on something like, I'm not wearing my glasses. Like, my eyesight's not that great. My hand hurts. I don't know. It's old. Just retire now.
The one I like, my son said that I really liked when he did beat me, is that he, and I think it harkens back a bit to that he's been playing with his brother, so he's been able to play more consistently every day, and he racked up a lot of hours with it. But he kind of mentioned that. He said, I've been practicing a lot. I've gotten better. And that made my heart sing, because it's like, yes, like hard work and practice equals results. Like that's exactly what I want you to focus in on. If you're not good at something and you practice, like you'll get better.
Right.
So like it kind of turned into a bit of a teachable moment there, Like
Yeah.
I really focused in on that. It's like absolutely you were able to beat me because you practiced so much and you worked hard and you figured it out and you kept trying and then you got better. And just
Right.
like really driving that home to try to hopefully make a point.
Yeah, and you're not going to go on YouTube like I would and find all the shortcuts and be like,
Trying to think.
"Oh yeah, I'll get you."
I thought of it. I felt a bit dirty because like that's really an adult edge in the sense that he can't go online and research. So the thought that like I would like stoop to that level, I think I'd prefer just to like play some more with him and try to get good. It's still competitive. Like I was second every time. Like
Yeah.
I have a goal now, which is which would be to beat regain the top spot. I got to come to your place and practice.
Yeah,
I
I
need
think we
some
need
tips
to
from the master.
we need like a little tutorial session, and now we get all the kids playing against each other. They're gonna get each other riled up too, and then we're gonna be
Yeah. Oh.
blue shelled.
We need a gaming dad training camp to like
We do.
so
Out of
it's a 6
practice?
weeks intensive. You just tell the wives, listen, this is really important. I'm going to be gone for 6 weeks.
That's
It's
right.
off site.
It's a retreat.
It's nothing but CS:GO on old lands
That's
and
right.
Mario
Yeah.
Kart. It's just getting you come back and you're just amazing. You make your
Why
kids
isn't this-
cry.
Yeah, why hasn't this happened yet? I mean, we should put this together. There's a market for this. Definitely.
Post pandemic, we're looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh, now I had an interesting situation recently with a game that I adored and had made progress in on one platform, but then it came out on a platform I prefer, so I just disregarded all progress.
Right.
So specifically, I'm talking about Hades. I had purchased it through the Epic Store for PC. Played a bunch. Great game. Like this game, Supergiant Games in my eyes can do no wrong. It might be my favorite developer. Bastion, Transistor, Hades. Now, like it's shit. Gorgeous stuff. I adore this company. So, and this game is no exception. Just oozing charm, charisma, style. Like it's ridiculous, and the gameplay is stunning. Like Hades, it's an old game. But I assume everybody's kind of heard of Hades by now. It recently just came out on Xbox Game Pass. So
Right.
completely for free on my Xbox, which is kind of my gaming center of choice. I could play it again. Like I can get it again, but I'd have to give up all that hard fought, hard earned dad time gaming progress on the other platform. So it became this real kind of toss up. I don't know if you ever faced like a similar scenario.
Absolutely. And really, you could just look at that as like, it's practice, Trevor. Now you're just so good at the game, you can breeze through.
Yeah, I'll just breeze. The way my life is going, I should just get my son to do it.
But no, I know what you mean. I haven't played Hades, but now that it's released on PS4 and PS5, along with Game Pass, it's kind of a little bit more accessible. I wouldn't have played it on the Switch just because I'm totally afraid of the controllers drifting, because I've had that happen, and that game looks really intense on the joysticks. But Stardew Valley is the game that I have spent hours in. Hours.
So many chores.
So many chores, so many fruits.
You've done so
and
much work
vegetables.
outside of work.
Absolutely. Like I built my farm, I cleaned it all up. I had like the whole town was happy, and that all happened on PC and Mac. And then PS4 had it. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of like the couch and my controller, and I want to get it on there. And I started all over again. And that game is just, it's one of those never ending ones, right? You can go as long as you have the time for, it's there. So yeah, I dumped in a lot
You've
of
got
hours.
the time. This game's got the stuff to do.
Yeah. So I'm doing, fruits and vegetables on my PS4 when I totally had the same thing on the PC. But it's just something about that comfort level. And I don't know, it was just a little bit easier to get into again when I'm in my spot. It's just like my little gaming couch and controller and screen. So I hear what you're saying, but I throw power to you. You can beat Hades on Game Pass too.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
I do like what I'm liking about the future, which I hope happens, and I have to imagine it comes to PlayStation as well, but with the cloud gaming, xCloud, that also means whatever progress I do make on the Xbox will also transfer over to my PC. Now, not within Epic Game Store, but inside of the Xbox game store on my PC. And it'll also transfer to cloud gaming. So on my iPad or my iPhone, I could be also play Hades there, and all my progress will kind of sync.
Right.
So what I do kind of like is it's sort of like that cloud saving across almost all of the platforms, so that my gaming is where I am.
Yeah.
Right? And especially with something like this where it's a roguelike and it's kind of, it has an ending, but in some ways it's kind of ongoing. Like whenever you want to dip into it, it's like wherever you are, you can then get back into it. So
Yeah.
like I imagine when you started your, how would you want to approach it when you restarted your Stardew Valley farm
Right.
for the 6th time? Was
Yeah.
there some part of you that's just kind of wished, I kind of wish my other one would come here, or did you do you enjoy the journey so much you're happy to just discard everything, all your previous fruits, all the other literal fruits of your labor?
Yeah. I a little bit of A and B on that one, because you're like, I don't mind the fresh start because you can do those things again and discover those, the beginnings of the game. But there are late game stuff that makes those things so much easier, and sometimes you're just wishing that progress, just those certain tools and items would come over, and be in that game. But back to xCloud, I would be interested. Like, have you ever? Because PS4 and PS5 always had a second screen, so I could technically play it on my Mac. It just, the system boots up upstairs. I just have to be in range of it, right? Or I could play on the iPad, like not a problem. And I remember doing that for turn-based games, just because it was easier. There's a little bit of a lag on the first-person stuff, but I never really used it. I kind of just like booted it up once and be like, yeah, it's cool, and then just never went back. So I don't know. All devices all the time. I'm not sure. It's like back to the original, like, oh, I have this game on my PC, but I'm actually comfortable playing on this. Do you mean like
I gotcha.
on your couch or stuff? But it's good to have the option at least.
I liked it just where, if you're really going through a campaign and you want to pour a lot of hours into it, I really liked the ability to be upstairs with my wife playing it just kind of idly on my iPad, as opposed to like in the gaming den, away from everything and everybody. Or even when traveling, for instance, like if I was at my sister's place or my parents' place, just outside of my own home, and I had it, I could still dip into it. Or theoretically, if I ever travel for work again in a post-pandemic type of world,
Yeah.
like the thought that it kind of comes with you without having to actually carry a console, I think becomes interesting. So in the home for me is more just the ability to break free of the gaming den sometimes. If you do want to dip in for a little bit and not necessarily be entirely shut off from the rest of the house, and then also just taking it with you around. But perhaps in some ways, yeah, the benefits, as you say, is overblown.
I mean, that just means I can play Witcher 3 everywhere. So.
You can already do that
All
on
the
the
time.
Switch, technically. Yeah.
I was so close to getting it. Yep, everywhere. Witcher 3, until they remaster it, which is coming. So, listeners, stay tuned for that one.
God, are you legitimately going to play it again if they remaster it?
I don't know. It's free. It's a free. Well, so they say. Who knows? But I don't know. It's again. It would start fresh
how long
again.
it is. Like,
It's like wiping Stardew Valley. I'm just starting on the farm again, just as a Witcher.
just trying to, like, all of the hours you poured in The Witcher, and you're gonna again, just because it looks prettier. Like that's.
It's my comfort food. It's like that bag of potato chips. You're like, I just know this game. It's my go-to.
Your gaming time is your own, and if that's what makes you happy, you chase your bliss. That's what this show's all about. And on that happy, positive, reinforcing note, let's wrap it up there for the week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you like the show, it would really, really help us out if you could subscribe to it on one of the platforms, or even better, rate it and leave a comment as we try to get some visibility and reach out to as many dads as possible. Speaking of that, if you did want to subscribe to it or share it out there, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, any of the major podcasting services. Would really appreciate that from you. Do you have your own story with Hades, with your comfort food, with your child finally beating you in a video game, with you finally having a true gaming buddy in the house? We'd love to hear from that. We'd love to hear from you. If you find us at our website, newdadgaming.com, or you can reach out to us on our socials at newdadgaming. Would love to hear from you. Would love to share out your story as we build out a bigger community of gaming dads. And hey, if we ever figure out the offsite dad gaming training sessions,
Yes.
we got to load up that queue. So it should be good to go. But please do reach out otherwise. Jeff, so you've been sipping on the beer throughout the show. What's the final verdict there?
Oh, it's so refreshing. I don't know. One of these Radlers just breaks up the standard beer. So I totally recommend it. Moosehead Radler, the peach mango. Haven't tried the other one yet. There's a watermelon one that I'm aiming to get at. But how about you over in Pineapple Town?
Pineappleville,
under the
population me. Yeah, as I said, I felt a certain level of guilt because this is absolutely one of my favorites. Nita Beer Company Pineapple Sour, but they are a small brewery based out of Ottawa. So, if you are ever visiting the city, highly recommend you try to find it. It is delicious. And if you ever visit Ontario, there's a chance if you go into the liquor store, you might find it. It's worth trying to find. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. And until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old who beats me silly in Mario Kart.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a dance party that's happening in the room. So just because you became a dad
doesn't mean it's game over. See you next week.